The message most dogs wish their humans understood: what if the most important thing your dog wants from you isn't a longer walk, a new toy, or a better training routine? What if it's something much simpler, something happening every day that most owners never notice? The surprising reality is that dogs are constantly communicating with the people they trust most. The problem isn't that owners don't care. It's that many of these messages are expressed in ways humans aren't naturally taught to recognize. And when those messages go unheard, small misunderstandings can slowly affect trust, confidence, and comfort. Let's begin with one of the most common mistakes. 1. Avoid using intense eye contact as discipline. Imagine your dog has just torn up a pillow or stolen food from the counter. Many people instinctively freeze, lock eyes with the dog, and silently communicate their frustration through a hard stare. To us, that expression means, "You know better." To many dogs, it can mean something entirely different. In canine communication, prolonged direct staring is often associated with conflict or challenge. While your intention may simply be correction, your dog's nervous system may interpret it as social pressure or potential confrontation. That's why some dogs suddenly become very still, lower their head, avoid eye contact, or display submissive body language. Those reactions are often signs of discomfort rather than an understanding of what they did wrong. Instead of relying on intimidating body language, calmly interrupt unwanted behavior and redirect your dog's attention towards something more appropriate. Clear guidance tends to build confidence far more effectively than silent confrontation. Over time, dogs learn not only from what we do, but from how safe they feel around us while learning. 2. Let your dog finish their check-in. Have you ever noticed your dog quietly walking over to you for no obvious reason? They may sniff your hand, your clothing, or simply stand close for a few moments before walking away. Most owners immediately reach out to pet them. While there's nothing wrong with affection, these moments may actually serve another purpose. Dogs gather an enormous amount of information through scent. When they approach calmly and investigate you, they may be checking in on your emotional state, routine, or overall well-being in the way that makes sense to them. Try an experiment. The next time your dog approaches for one of these quiet visits, resist the urge to immediately touch them. Give them a moment to complete the interaction on their terms. Once they're finished, then respond if they choose to remain close. You may be surprised how much more intentional those interactions begin to feel. But these first 2 habits are only the beginning. We'll cover a mistake many loving owners make without realizing it, changing a dog's world overnight and expecting them to instantly adapt. The effects can be far bigger than most people imagine. Part 2. Why sudden changes can be so difficult for dogs. Most people assume dogs are naturally adaptable. A new house, a new family member, a different routine, give them a few days, and they'll be fine, right? Sometimes they are. But what many owners don't realize is that dogs experience major life changes very differently than humans do. When our lives change, we usually understand why. We know what's coming. We can prepare mentally and emotionally for it. Dogs don't have that luxury. One day, everything feels familiar and predictable. The next day, furniture disappears, schedules shift, strangers arrive, or favorite people are suddenly gone for long periods. From the dog's perspective, the world can seem to change without explanation. 3. Help your dog prepare for big changes, whether you're moving to a new home, welcoming a baby, adopting another pet, changing work schedules, or planning a long trip. Your dog benefits from gradual exposure whenever possible. Instead of waiting until the last moment, introduce parts of the change early. If you're moving, let your dog visit the new environment beforehand. If a new family member is arriving, begin adjusting routines before the big day. If someone will be caring for your dog temporarily, allow them to spend time together in advance. These small steps create familiarity, and familiarity often reduces stress. Dogs thrive when they can predict what happens next. The more uncertainty they face, the harder it can be for them to feel secure. Even maintaining simple routines, regular walks, feeding times, and familiar sleeping areas can provide reassurance during periods of transition. Your dog may never fully understand why things are changing, but consistency helps them understand that they are still safe. 4. Respect the moments when your dog says no. This may be one of the most important skills any owner can learn. Dogs communicate boundaries all the time. The challenge is that they rarely communicate them the way humans do. A slight head turn, a lip lick, looking away, leaning backward, suddenly becoming still. These subtle signals are often your dog's polite way of expressing discomfort. Unfortunately, many people unintentionally ignore these early warnings. A child keeps hugging. A visitor continues reaching toward the dog's face. A grooming session continues despite obvious tension. When those signals are repeatedly overlooked, dogs learn an important lesson: communication doesn't work. And when softer communication stops working, some dogs eventually resort to louder methods: growling, snapping, barking, or avoiding people altogether. Respecting boundaries doesn't mean avoiding necessary care. It means paying attention to what your dog is trying to tell you and adjusting whenever possible. When dogs discover their signals are noticed, trust often grows dramatically. And trust is exactly what we'll focus on next, because we'll discuss the everyday habit that quietly shapes your dog's confidence more than almost anything else: your consistency. Part 3. The secret dogs value more than perfection. Many owners spend years trying to become the perfect dog parent. They buy better equipment, watch training videos, research nutrition, and look for new ways to enrich their dog's life. While all of those things can be valuable, there is something many dogs care about even more: predictability, not perfection, not endless entertainment, not constant attention, simply knowing what to expect from the person they trust most. 5. Be consistent, not perfect. Think about your dog's daily life for a moment. Every important resource comes from you: food, exercise, comfort, safety, social connection. Because of that, your behavior becomes one of the most important parts of their environment. When your reactions are generally consistent, dogs learn how the world works. They feel secure because they can anticipate what comes next. But when responses constantly change, confusion can start to build. Imagine allowing your dog on the couch one day, then scolding them for it the next. Or enthusiastically engaging with them all weekend, then suddenly becoming distant and unavailable for several days without any clear pattern. From a human perspective, these shifts may seem minor. To a dog, they can create uncertainty. Dogs are experts at observing patterns. They pay attention to routines, habits, tones of voice, body language, and daily rituals. Those patterns help them determine whether an environment feels safe. The more predictable you become, the less energy your dog has to spend trying to figure out what's happening. And when that mental effort decreases, something wonderful happens. They relax. You begin to see more of their genuine personality emerge. The playful side, the curious side, the affectionate side, the version of your dog that isn't constantly monitoring the environment for clues about what comes next. Consistency doesn't mean every day must look identical. Life changes. Schedules shift. Unexpected situations happen. What matters is maintaining reliability in the areas that matter most. Try to keep feeding times relatively stable. Maintain clear household expectations. Respond to behavior in a fair and predictable way. When your dog seeks connection, acknowledge them consistently rather than only when it's convenient. These small habits communicate something powerful: you can count on me. And for many dogs, that message means more than any toy, treat, or training technique ever could. Final thought: at the heart of everything we've discussed is a simple idea. Most dogs aren't asking us to be flawless. They're asking us to understand them, to notice the signals they send, to respect their boundaries, to guide them without intimidation, to help them through change, and above all, to be someone they can trust day after day. When you start listening to what your dog has been communicating all along, the relationship changes. Not because your dog becomes different, but because, for the first time, they feel truly understood. If you think you know your dog well, there's one surprising behavior that many owners completely misinterpret, and it may reveal what your dog is actually feeling when you're not paying attention.